Here in this video, we will be doing the question solving part of the exercises of Chapter 4 Presentation of Data for Class 11 Statistics. Now question number 1 says answer the following questions from 1 to 10 choosing the correct answer. So the first question of this question number 1 is bar diagram is a, and the options are one-dimensional diagram, two-dimensional diagram, diagram with no dimensions, none of the above. So for this answer we will have to understand what is a bar diagram. Bar diagram is the geometric diagrammatic presentation of data. In a bar diagram, there are equi-spaced and equi-width bars to represent the data class. So there are equal spaced and equal width bars which represent the data class. Bar diagram is a one-dimensional diagram. The height or the length of the bar diagram only represents the data value. The width of the bars of the bar diagram does not have any data value information. So hence it is a one-dimensional diagram, and so the option 1 is the correct answer. Here the next question for question number 1 is data represented through the histogram can help in finding graphically the options are mean, mode, median and all of the above. So for this answer we will have to understand what is a histogram. A histogram is a graphical representation which shows the continuous distribution of data. The mode is the value that occurs most frequently. The tallest bar shows the class interval having the highest length with the highest frequency. So here in the histogram, in the diagram or in the graph, we find that the highest frequency for the class interval 10 to 14 is having the most or the highest frequency. So this is the model class. So the class interval 10-14 is the model class. So option 2 is correct, which is mode. Now we come to the next question. OGIF can be helpful in locating graphically. The options are mode, mean, median, none of the above. Here the answer will be, first we'll have to understand what is an OGIF. An OGIF is the graphical representation of the cumulative frequency distribution of the data set. So OGIF represents the cumulative frequency distribution of the data set. And OGIF is what? It is a line graph. So the middle point of an OGIF is the median. So when the less than OGIF and the more than OGIF in the OGIF graph, they intersect, that point is called the median. So hence option 3 is the correct option, which is median. We have the next question number 4, which is data represented through arithmetic line graph helps in understanding. The options are long-term trend, cyclicity in data, seasonality in data, all of the above. For this, we will have to answer what is an arithmetic line graph first. Arithmetic line graph is the time series graph. Here, the time is plotted along the x-axis and the values of the variables in y-axis. A line joining the plotted points is the arithmetic line graph. The arithmetic line graph shows the long-term trend. So here we have the answer. So option 1 is the correct answer, which is long-term trend. Now we come to question number 5 of question 1, which is width of bars in a bar diagram need not be equal. Is it true or false? The answer is, in a standard type of bar diagram, the widths of bars are always equal. The heights or the lengths of the bars may vary as per the values of the data. Hence, what we have, the statement which is width of the bars in a bar diagram need not be equal is false. That means width of the bars in a bar diagram is equal. So the statement is false. Now we come to number 6 questions of question number 1, which is width of rectangles in a histogram should essentially be equal. So is it true or false? For this, the answer is, we know that histogram is a two-dimensional diagram. It has the sets of rectangles with base x-axis as the intervals between the class boundaries, and areas proportional to the class frequency. In a histogram, the width of a rectangle represents the class intervals. The width may be unequal if the class intervals are unequal. Hence, the statement which is width of rectangles in a histogram should essentially be equal is false. Now we come to the seventh question of question number 1, which says histogram can only be formed with continuous classification of data. Is it true or false? So for this we will again understand first the answer. Histogram is only used for the continuous frequency distribution. In a histogram, the rectangles must touch each other to show continuity of data. Hence, the statement is true. That means histogram can only be found with continuous classification of data. This is the true statement. Now we come to question number 8, which says histogram and column diagrams are same methods of presentation of data. Is it true or false? For this, we will again answer first the question. Histogram and column diagram are different methods of data presentation. In a histogram, rectangles touch each other and they represent the continuous data, while in column diagrams or bar diagrams, there is gap between the rectangles. Column diagrams represent the categorical or the discrete data. So discrete data, we have done this, that discrete data are the certain values which is formed in the classification of data. So the statement here is false. Now the next question for question number 1 is mode of frequency distribution can be known graphically with the help of histogram. This is true or false? So here the answer will be the mode of the frequency distribution can be known by identifying the model class. So from the histogram, we will first identify the model class. The model class is the class interval that has the highest frequency. Hence, we know that the statement is true. So in the figure, we find that the class interval 10 to 14, this has the highest frequency, which is the model class. So here the statement will be what? It will be true, that mode of a frequency distribution can be known graphically with the help of histogram. This is a true statement. Now we come to the next and the last question, which is question number 10. Median of a frequency distribution cannot be known from the ogives. Is it true or false? So the answer will be, we know that median is the middle value or the midpoint of a class. Now the median or the middle value, midpoint of the class or the middle value of the class of a frequency distribution can be known from the ogive. And ogive is also, we know that it is drawn according to the cumulative frequency distribution in a graph. So we find that in the graph here, the more than and the less than ogive, the point where it intersect, that point is known as the median. So the statement will be false. That means median of a frequency distribution cannot be known from the ogive is false. Rather, we know that median of frequency distribution can be known from the ogive. So the statement is false.